talked for a while, and then we embraced, and we held each other all night long. All night long. The cold light of the morning, oh, it all seemed like a dream, but you were still lying next to me. Still lying next to me. Reality was taken over, and we'd soon have to say goodbye. But somehow I knew we could still be friends. Yes, we could still be friends. You're the African princess. Yes, you're the warrior queen, who is standing up for what is right. Your heart is pure, and you're brave and bold, and your spirit's much older than time. Yes, so much older than time. You're the African princess, oh, you're the warrior queen.
She had married young, they were happy for 20 years, they set up a business together, but the marriage is crumbling and she's beginning to realise that this has to end. She said, some years ago I took a trip to the city of Jerusalem. The group I was travelling with had risen early for the day's planned itinerary. I stayed behind. I could no longer keep up the charade that I was part of their adventure. I wasn't there to visit the sacred sites or to walk the stations of the cross, wail at the western wall, or chant the 99 beautiful names of Allah. No, I was here to further delay making a decision about my life at home. I was here, but I really was home in New York, scared and confused. I wandered deeper into the old city, and I came to an ancient alleyway lined with shops selling religious artifacts for Western pilgrims, and I went into one of them. On the walls hung paintings, some of saints and prophets, others of mountains and flowers. In the back room, sat at a low table, two Arab men dressed in white kaftans. One was stooped and an aged gentleman, and the other was perhaps his son. He was a mysterious-looking character with gleaming eyes and long black hair, like the mane of a well-groomed horse. After a while, the son put down his tea and came towards me, fixing his gaze on me as if trying to read the secrets of my heart. or the contents of my purse, he said in perfect English, "Come, you like this picture?" Taking my hand, he took me to the back of the stove, near where the father was sitting. The old man stood and shuffled over to meet me. He placed his right hand on his heart and bowed his head in the traditional Islamic greeting. "Look," he said, pointing at a small painting hanging on the wall. He touched my arm with the kindness of a grandfather. "See the rose," he said, turning me towards the picture. There, framed in dark wood, was the earthreal image of a rosebud with shimmering pale petals holding one another in a tight embrace. Under the flower was an inscription that read, "And the time came when the risk to remain tight in a bud was more powerful than the risk it took to blossom." Unexpected tears stung my eyes at the words. I turned away, hiding my face in the shadows. I was afraid I would break down in this stranger stone, thousands of miles from home. "What is wrong?" the long-haired man asked. Nothing is wrong," I said. "I'm fine." "No," he said, "something is wrong. You are in pain." "What do you mean?" I asked, suspicious, yet curious. Was he a con man trying to sell me the painting? Or was my heartache so palpable, my story so easily read? I felt exposed, as if the long-haired man could spy into my soul and know the real me. "What do you mean?" I asked again. I looked at the men. They stared back at me. We stood in silence, and then the long-haired one repeated, "You were in pain. Do you know why?" "Know why?" I asked, even though I certainly did know. "Because you were afraid." "Afraid of what?" "Afraid of yourself," the man said, placing his hand on his chest and patting his heart. "You are afraid to feel your real feelings. You are afraid to want what you really want. What do you really want?" I began making my way towards the door. The man followed me to the front of the shop. He stood directly in front of me, took my own hand and put it over my heart. "I don't mean the painting," he said kindly. "I mean what the painting says. I mean that your heart is like the flower. Let it grow open. What you want is waiting for you in your own heart. The time has come. May Allah bless you." Then he slipped back into the darkness. I pulled open the door, stepped out into the light of bustling day. The words under the painting echoed in my head. Somehow the long-haired man had seen into me and named the source of my pain. I was like the rosebud, holding myself together, tight and tensed, terrified of breaking open. But the time had come. It was time for me to step boldly into the fullness of life, with all its dangers and all its promises. Remaining tight in a bud had become a kind of death. The time had come for me to blossom. Now we talk to our welcome guest, Janet. Thank you very much for being here tonight to represent the Lord Mayor of Dublin. Would you like to say a few words?
Thanks very much for having me here tonight. So my name is Janet Horner. I'm a councillor for the North Inner City in Dublin, and I'm representing the Lord Mayor and I guess the city as a whole tonight, and it's just a real privilege to be here because of that, to do that. So I was here 3 years ago in 2019, again representing for the Lord Mayor's office, and that was very recently after I'd become a councillor for the first time. So I've had the last 3 years to really get to know the city a lot more, the vibrancy, the diversity of our communities, and how it functions, and it has been great to be able to work with so many different groups, individuals, organisations that are doing such invaluable work to further our city, to make it a more diverse, inclusive, safe place for everybody to be. And I really just want to firstly thank everybody who's involved in that work of progressing our city. As we are growing as a city, we are learning together, and I think that's a really valuable and lovely thing to be doing. We're participating in a movement, I think, of collective liberation at the moment, of shedding our own ideas, our own fears, our own internalised stigma and prejudices as well. But as others have mentioned, and Sam mentioned as well, there's also been a lot of growing fear, anxiety, because of what we see of the acts of hate and violence on our street, and that is something that has been heartbreaking to see and witness as somebody who represents this city as well. And I want to mention in particular Zen Black, who in Dave Patrick, and just reminding us again of the high price that is paid by people because of that violence, and because that is there's oppressive systems that we are not doing enough to tackle as well. So I want to also just mention Zen's family, friends, community and loved ones as well, and just so we can think of them tonight as well. And just as somebody again who is involved in the work of the city, I just want to offer a commitment from my colleagues across the City Council that we are doing and will continue to be involved in the work of making it safe, that everybody can walk down the street, can be safe in their homes, can be safe going to work, including everybody who's involved in sex work in the city, and that people are free to express their identity, to live in peace and quiet where they choose, to participate fully in public life where they choose, and they can safely assume that they will be met with respect, with tolerance, with understanding as they do so as well. And I hope that that is the vision of the city that we can live up to, and that your representatives will deliver on that, and will be able to further that for the city. But yeah, just to finally say again, thank you so much for having me here tonight, and thank you for the work that is done on this.
Thank you.
For all we know, we may never meet again. Before you go,
everybody. First of all, thank you for coming along. I had a big long speech here, but both Lynda and Sam has basically told you everything I was going to say anyway. First of all, thank you all for coming along, because every year for the past 17 years, it has been really important for us to come and remember those who have passed in the past year, but also those who have struggled in the past year, and also those of us who are attacked, and those of us who are struggle to find right services, etc. But first of all, tonight, I just want to first of all say thank you to Janice Horner for representing the Lord Mayor's office. For the past 17 years, the Lord Mayor has been unbelievably supportive of this ceremony and of the trans community, as has Dublin City Council, constantly putting up the trans flag through Pride, through Trans Week, visibility in March, and again this week during Trans Awareness Week. So thank you very much on behalf of the trans community. I also want to say thank you again to Bridget, as I always will, because I think, you know, without Bridget welcoming us into her heart and into the hearts of the Unitarian Church and allowing us to come here every year to have this remembrance ceremony, without you we would not be able to do this, and I just want to say thank you. Again, Lynda is going to come up and give you a little present. So thank you very much to Bridget.
As Sarah was there talking, I was just remembering, and let's just remember as we go to do our final blessing, Denise, Hurley was her second name, yeah. Denise, who died in Cork and was such a fighter and such a survivor. Our final blessing. May the love that overcomes all differences, which heals all wounds, which puts to flight all fears, which reconciles all who are separated, be in us and among us in the days ahead. Our final contribution is himself.
I will give you a moment to look up Lean On Me on your phones if you need the lyrics. And I'm going to try and sing a cappella as well, so I really do need the support, even if you're just clapping. Let's keep us all, let's end on a bang. And the reason I've chosen this is because this is a really difficult day for us all, but also a day where we can come together. And really, this is a family, and that's why I was hoping we could end on bringing ourselves together. So. Sometimes in our lives we all have pain, we all have sorrow, but if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong. I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long. I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Please swallow your pride. If I have things you need to borrow, for no one can fill those of your needs that you won't let show. You just call on brother when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you understand. We all need somebody to lean on. Lean on me when you're not strong. I'll help you carry on, for when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you'll understand. We all need somebody to lean on. Lean on me when you're not strong. I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean